Hello, everyone. Apologies about the technical difficulties. The camera that we use to broadcast games for UCD is not cooperating with us right now. And because the game has begun already, we thought we could get the camera up and running. However, because the camera is set up recording the plays that's going on, the link that I normally use to broadcast is not cooperating with us. So we're going to try to reset the camera at halftime. So until then, I'm getting text updates about the state of the game. It is currently scoreless in the first quarter. 3rd down and 10 for UCD. Cork went for it on 4th down and missed. Dan Vershu had a good pass breakup. Stu Wiley just made a 3rd down gain of 20 yards to set up UCD for 1st down. Hi again, everybody. I'm Max Walpuff, and I am terribly sorry about the state of things as they are right now. We are live in Cork. We are here in the Rebel County for today. Cork has just called their first timeout of the half, following a major gain by Stu Wiley. So thank you again for joining us wherever you are in the world. We're trying to get this settled. We're trying to get this sorted out, but we're likely not going to have video for the first half. It is just going to be me. So if anybody's got questions, I can entertain all of you. I've got plenty of time. I'm sitting here in the UCD locker room at Munster Technical University Stadium. The field that we broadcast the game from is due north that direction, I think. Tom McKenniff, run for 12 yards, sets up another 1st down. Inside the red zone now is UCD. First and 10 from the 15. Currently scoreless. I'm relying on the text rundown from one of the assistant coaches, Daniel McCauley. So we thank you again for joining us. I'm really sorry about the camera. We are going to try to get this camera up and running by halftime. Tom McKenniff, a 3-yard run, sets up 2nd down and 7. I got plenty of time to answer all of your questions. So if you've got any, shout them out. It is 2nd down for UCD. This is their first time touching the ball today. Cork received the first half kickoff, which means UCD will receive this ball to start the second half. Incomplete pass to the corner for 2nd down over the head of Stu Wiley. Now sets up 3rd down and about 7 to go inside the 20. Yes, indeed, Dirtthang 1000. The show must go on. We're working with what we got. It's not an ideal situation to be in. However, for now, it's what we have. And UCD fails to convert on 3rd down, sets up 4th down inside the 20. I figured I'd at least open up the video, start entertaining the audience, see who's joining us right now. We will look to get the camera back up and running for the second half of action. So if you're joining us now, you are the real ones. Yes, you asked for bigger B, and now you have bigger B. Careful what you wish for. So after the first 2 games of the season, I sent out questions looking for input on, hey, how can we improve the broadcast? And one of the notes was we wanted Max's camera bigger. Defense jumped on 4th down, so it's a free play for the offense. And I eagerly await the 3 dots to go away for the result of the play. I feel like an old baseball broadcaster making things up, calling it off of ticker tape. All right, it'll be 4th and 2 as Aaron Mooney missed the pass to set up the action. So, hey, at least this works. So the starting offense today, as you can now see on the screen, is on there. So Patty Sweeney is the one who makes the graphics. He's number 72. We finally got it to work that you could see the field, but we don't have the field to show. So anyway, late hit on the quarterback on a 4th and short. This is going to set up UCD with 1st and goal. So Cork's defense is bailing out UCD here. So UCD set up with a 1st and goal from inside the 5. Following a late hit on the quarterback on 4th and short, Cork seemed to be ready to take over on downs, but they will not be able to do so. To finish my point, I feel like I'm an old baseball announcer making up the game on ticker tape as they received it from writers who were at the stadium. And the broadcasters for a lot of those old baseball teams, they did not travel. So they stayed wherever they were. They plugged into the phone jacks because we used to have to call the game via radio telephone lines. So now 1st and goal UCD in the scoreless first quarter thus far. Aaron Mooney rushes for the touchdown. So UCD is on the board first. Rolling right into the end zone, UCD's first drive ends in a touchdown. They are now setting up for 2. 6-0 UCD over the Cork Admirals. UCD beginning this game in 2nd place in AFI behind the Belfast Trojans. As UCD lines up in tractor formation, I at least know who's on the field now that they've told me that, as likely Tom Donovan or Stu Wiley will be taking the snap here. As the 2-point conversion result is Alex Kusmerik running it in after a botched snap. So that is 2 points extra for UCD. As Kusmerik dives across the line, I'm sure he will be looking forward to watching that back, and I regret to inform Kusmerik that he will have to be looking at my face instead. Thank you to the Atwells watching from Virginia. Glad to see you. Hi, Dad. Good to see you. Ticker tape, Max. Yeah, that's what we're going with. So, again, got plenty of time for questions. I'm calling it off of a WhatsApp text chain with one of the coaches who's been assigned to be the one talking to me today. I'm choosing to laugh because otherwise I will start to cry, and that's not good for anybody. So the Cork Admirals today, they play at Munster Technical University. The end zones run north to south. The home bench is on the east side. The visiting bench is on the west side, bordering the Currageen River. So it is 8-0 UCD in the first quarter. We will hopefully have the camera back up and running by halftime, but until then, it is just me talking to you, all you lovely people. UCD will be kicking off to start Cork's second drive. And the kickoff goes out of the back of the end zone. How is the weather for the game? I'll answer that question first. Weather for the game is very nice. It is partly cloudy with a good deal of sun. There is a light breeze. It is low 50s, high single digits, low double digits for Celsius. How did the players get to Cork? We took a bus, most of us. So most of us took a bus from UCD's campus. Several players drove. A couple of the coaches drove themselves. We actually, Dad, you'll remember this. Remember the rest stop that we went to on the way to Blarney Castle? We stopped at that exact same rest stop today. And I guess we were those under 12 hurlers that we ran into that time that we went there back in the fall. Cork is setting up their second drive from the 20-yard line following a touchback after the kickoff. And for anybody who's wondering about the heavenly background that I have here, I am in UCD's offensive locker room. And tackle for loss on the play for first down. Sets up 2nd and 13. Starting quarterback today for Cork is Jake Kennedy, number 10. I was told that before heading to the game. It was a run up the middle. Defensive line stopped with nowhere to go for the running back. Running backs today for Cork are Callum Crowe and Harris Monaghan. Appreciate all of you sticking with us on UCD American football through these technical difficulties. Again, if you've got questions, plenty of time to answer them. I'll answer most reasonable questions. Waiting on the result of this second down play for Cork's second drive of the game, still in this first quarter. And Cork lost the ball during the play on a run up the middle, gained 3 yards. UCD recovered the ball, but the referees stopped the action. So no defensive recovery on a fumble, as the referees ruled the play had stopped prior to that. Third down coming up for Cork. Looks like a 3rd and long setting up here. And it is pass interference against UCD to gift a free first down to Cork. DB ran into the receiver, and that sets up a free 1st and 10 for Cork to save their second drive of the game. And the referees have decided to chat to delay us getting to halftime. Still first quarter. UCD is in the lead on a Aaron Mooney rushing touchdown and an Alex Kusmarek 2-point conversion for 8. If anyone's got more questions? Funny things that happened on the trip. The answer is yes, funny things did happen on this trip. But I know better than to reveal the things that happened on the bus, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut on this one. Indeed, Shadak, yes, not supposed to disclose what happens on the bus. However, there are certain things players will tell me on the bus that they'll say you can use this during, but most of the time I operate under the assumption that things I learn on the bus stay there. Following a 3rd down play with a pass interference call against UCD, the referees are currently pausing for a chat. I do have a graphic for UCD's defense today. And yes, here is UCD's defense. If you'll pardon me a moment, I will take the banner off so you can read everybody's names. We have a couple of new players on the UCD starting defense, notably Liam Poulsen over here as a strong safety, and Aver Lombard over here with the Irish Wolfhounds cover photo as starting quarterback. Other than that, Adam Quinlan also joining on the starting lineup at defensive end. He was a star during the that's what they were talking about. He was a star during the intervarsity game against University of Limerick, and the referees were discussing targeting. They opted not to call targeting, so it was just pass interference on the play. UCD was also given a sideline warning, and it'll be Cork 1st down and 10 following a defensive pass interference that was not targeting. Actually, I'm going to keep the defense up while the defense is on the field so that if a defensive player makes a play, I can point to that person if they're disclosed in the chat that I have with one of the assistant coaches of who is doing the Lord's work for this. Pass for 12 yards. Cork gets another 1st down. as they slowly march down the field here against UCD's starting defense. Have you a party piece planned? No, I don't believe there's a plan. Or if there is a plan, I don't know it. I'll put it that way. First and 10, Cork. You know, I've had my fair share of conversations with people where I see the 3 dots. That good, Dirthang 1000? Incomplete pass on first down, sets up second down, coming up for Cork. You are correct, Dirthang 1000. It's flipped from what I have on the depth chart where Brady is lined up on this side, but Lombard is actually lined up over here on the chart that I have. So flip that and reverse it, but that's okay. Second down is incomplete pass again after another hit by Alex Brady. This is actually working out pretty well. We're working with what we have here. Thank you for joining us on UCD American Football, as are having some technical issues with our camera being able to send out the live link that I normally share screen and present from. So we're rolling with what we have. One of the coaches is thankfully providing ticker tape style updates. It is now 3rd down and 10 for the Cork Admirals. UCD is on defense as they started on defense, and a false start on 3rd and 10 will make it 3rd and 15 coming up. Okay. Dirthang, you're going to have to help me out. Am I pointing at Lombard when I do this? And the referees are now discussing the potential false start penalty. Okay. Interesting. So, All right. I thought it was going to work. Score is still 8-0, and they've flipped the false start call to a UCD offside, so it's now 3rd and 5. So instead of being 3rd and long, it's going to be 3rd and manageable coming up for Cork following a referee discussion and a flip of the call from false start to offside. Third and 5 for the Admirals on their second drive of the day. They punted but recovered a muffed punt and then turned it over on downs deep in UCD territory on their first drive. And QB sneak run for 2 yards, so it sets up 4th down. Fourth down coming for the Admirals. Curious decision of what they decide to do here. 4th and 3. Sounds like it's still in the Cork half of the field. They are going for it. 3 receivers to the right. And Cork gets it, 4 yards. So first down coming up for the Admirals to keep the drive going. I'm grateful that all of you have stuck with us and have joined us here today on this game. Sorry we couldn't get the camera up and running fast enough for everybody. We will try again at halftime to get the camera properly working so that everybody can watch the game, as opposed to watching me in a suit in a locker room talking about it. Quarterback run by Kennedy for 9 yards sets up a short second down coming up for the Admirals. Admirals today are in the red as a flag is on UCD, waiting on confirmation of what the signal is from the coaches on the sideline. If anybody's got questions, this is a great time to ask because I have plenty of space to fill and we don't have any visuals to help. And flag waved off. They pick up a flag on an initially called late hit on the quarterback. Still just 2nd and 1 for the Admirals coming up. And the first quarter has ended. So we are 1 quarter away from halftime, everybody. Second quarter coming now, as it's still 8-0, UCD in the lead. Again, apologies to everybody who is tuning in, hoping to see American football live today from Cork, Ireland. We were having some issues with the camera before the game started. The link that I was sent from the camera to share the screen with all of you did not work. And then as we tried to get it to work again, we could not get it to work on time. So we'll try again at the half. And until halftime, it is going to be me reading off of the results that are sent in from one of the assistant coaches. Currently, it's 8-0. Aaron Mooney had the run, and UCD holds the line. Now I'm confused by what I'm being told. There's a 2nd and 2 coming up. An 8-yard play, not a 9-yard play. That's what I'm being told. Okay. So this defense is on the field. Maybe not these exact players, but these are the starters. And a sack on the play. As quarterback kept it and tried to run, he could not escape. Longer third down coming for UCD as the Admirals are on the march. Or is it on the sail? Sorry, I'm trying to be too literal with some of these Admirals and Admiralty jokes that I have. Quarterback tried to throw the ball late, but the officials ruled him down. So that is a UCD sack. Third down and 2 coming up. Interesting. The referees have decided that they blew the whistle inadvertently, and they will replay the down. So it's 2nd and 2 all over again. I did not get a chance to talk to the crew of referees that we have for this game prior to coming out here today. So 2nd and 2 for the Admirals. This is their second drive. They failed to score on their first. UCD did score on their first. And an immediate tackle by the defensive line for no gain sets up 3rd down this time. Yes, the refs admitted a mistake. Yeah, it's very rare that referees ever admit that they made a mistake on anything. 3rd down coming up for the Admirals as they slowly march down the field against UCD's staunch defense. Admirals have struggled to score on offense this season. They've yet to score over 10 points in the course of any game, as Adam Quinlan takes down the running back for now setting up 4th down coming up here. Quinlan getting his first start with the senior team this year. So on the tackle for loss, the Admirals, they've had some tough games. It was an 11-4 loss to the Belfast Knights. The defense scored 2 safeties, but 3 red zone drives, 2 of which ended in an interception for the offense. And Cork has not scored over 10 points in a game. UCD, they have not struggled on offense. They have scored plenty. They have a point differential of plus 56, which is not the top point differential in the league, as quarterback Jake Kennedy runs it for a 1st down on 4th and 2. The Belfast Trojans now hold the best point differential in the league at plus 87. The Trojans have also played 3 games. So 1st and 10 from the 12, as Cork threatening to score on their second drive. First and 10 from the 12. And a pass incomplete heading toward the back of the end zone. Sets up a 2nd down play. 2nd and 10 from the 12. UCD's defense is on the field, likely consisting of many of these players. However, this is just the starting roster. Second and 10 for the Admirals. And it's a turnover! Botched the handoff to the running back, and UCD recovers the fumble. Alton Conroy with the fumble recovery. That allows UCD to take over UCD 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line on their half of the field. So the starting offense for UCD, you can see on the screen here, Aaron Mooney and Camille Cherpiche, and Stu Wiley captaining the offense today. And Brandon Atwell taken down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. 2nd and 15 coming up. Second down and 15, UCD deep in their own territory, following a lost yardage play on 1st down. Let's see what they get here. And Atwell is given the ball again, and he rushes for a decent gain to set up 3rd and shorts. 3rd down and 2 coming up. as Atwell gains back the tackle for lost yards from first down and sets up UCD to have a good chance at making it here on the third down conversion in their own territory. Need to get to the 25 to convert the third down. Bert Toast, the camera was not working. We are hoping to get the camera back working by halftime. And Tom McKenniff makes a decent amount of cuts for a 10-yard run. So that sets up first down for UCD. My brother commenting, I feel like I'm watching Ronald Reagan call Cubs games in Iowa. Yeah, this is about what Ronald Reagan, the actor? Yeah, this is what he had to do when he was the play-by-play voice of the Iowa Cubs all those years before he became president. First down and 10 from the 40-yard line. And Donovan can't get to the pass, incomplete. Second down and 10 coming up from the UCD 40. Once again, the halfway point of the field is the 45, which has been the case all season for UCD, playing at their own home yard. So nothing new for UCD, but could be new for our listeners, I guess, because we're not watching the game. We're all listeners together. So we are hoping to get the camera back up and running for the third quarter and for beyond. But as of right now, I am calling it off of a text chain. An incomplete pass, nearly intercepted. Third and 10 coming up here. As UCD was running the ball well, they opt to pass the last two plays, and they haven't gotten a yard yet. So third and 10 coming up, middle of the field for UCD. We thank everybody again for sticking with us through some technical difficulties, but this is the best we can do right now. Third and 10 for UCD, leading by 8. And Stu Wiley makes a big catch. Waiting on the 3 dots to disappear. First and 10 from the Cork 25. That is a big catch. So going from the UCD 40 to the Cork 25, that's a huge gain for UCD, closing in on the red zone. Great to see you, Aunt Kim. And Brandon Atwell rushes for a yard. Second and 9 coming up here. Again, thank you so much for everybody for tuning in and working with us on this. UCD's offense is on the field and is on the screen here. Second and 9 from the Admirals' 24-yard line. See if UCD can add to their 8-0 lead. And Jefferson Freeman dives out of bounds, cannot make the catch inbound. And it's third and 9. From my source on the sideline, he was out by about 2 inches. If there's anything like the Freeman catch that he made during the second game of the season, and if you haven't seen that on the previous game, go back and watch it. It's a good one. He jumped up to get it, spun around, caught it, and got both feet down in bounds, but he just needed to get one. As Atwell runs it 5 yards up the middle, 4th and 4. And this is the part of the game where I tell everybody UCD does not have a field goal unit, so they will go for it from the 20-yard line. Four yards to get, looking to get to the 16. UCD looking to add to their lead and get the third victory of the season, which would keep them on pace with the Belfast Trojans, who will be the next team UCD hosts when they host their first game in May. Greetings from South Africa. Great to see you, the Halliday family. 4th and 4, UCD has to gain 4 yards in order to keep the play going. And Brandon Atwell is ruled short. UCD has asked for a measurement. UCD's coaches, as they're telling me, they believe that Brandon was not short. We're hoping to get the camera back up and running by the third quarter. Until then, it's just going to be me reading off a text chain similar to the ticker tape announcers of the 1940s and 60s. Watching from Canada. Great to see. Canada's a large country. Care to be more specific, Paige? And the fourth down measurement results, as I'm waiting on it like the rest of you. And he is short of the line to gain. Cork recovers. It is a turnover on downs inside the red zone. So Cork will get their third drive of the day. Happy to see everyone tuning in. We've had a couple of international viewers, some from South Africa, one from Canada, a few from the United States. So UCD's defense, as I get them back on the screen, they are going back on the field. We're going to keep UCD in the lead by 8. So it's 1st and 10, Cork from the 16-yard line. And Dan Vershu misses on a chance at an interception. 2nd and 10 is all that results. If anybody's got a long-winded question, now's the chance to get it, because there's plenty of time for me to answer any of your questions. I'll answer anything reasonable. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Admirals. And Cork now calls their second timeout before going for it on 2nd down. And the O'Briens are watching from Connecticut in the United States. Very good to see you. I actually sat next to Sean O'Brien on the bus drive heading over. I think that is, I think that's fine to talk about. Yeah, I think people are a little bit too suspicious about letting the broadcaster sit on the bus. So Sean was a great guy to sit next to. Which team is the strongest in the league and why? Little hard not to think that Belfast Trojans are the strongest team given their offensive prowess. Right now, I think it's a little bit too soon to tell, because this Admirals team held the Trojans to 13 points on their last game of the season. UCD definitely has a lot of people thinking that this will be a back-to-back year. So UCD is the traditional pick. But the Trojans looking like they're going to be the ones to challenge for the throne this year. And I think most of it for Belfast is on the strength of their offense. However, they did play the recently promoted Craigavon Cowboys and beat them 42-0. And they also played the almost relegated South Dublin Panthers from last season and beat them 47-7. And quarterback run gets 12 yards, sets up a first down for Cork. Dan Vershu on the tackle. Happy to see a lot of familiar usernames today. Again, apologies that we could not get the camera up and running for you. We will try again at halftime to get that going. It's frustrating for me, especially because they're about a few hundred feet that direction. And a run up the middle. Larry Doyle takes him down for no gain. 2nd and 10 coming up. And for anybody tuning in hoping to see what Cork is doing, I regret to inform you that the source I have on the sideline is a UCD coach. So likely not going to have the names for the Admirals until we can get the camera up and running. Where do the team names originate from? I can take a guess at some of them, but I don't know the precise answer for most of them. The Admirals for Cork is a relatively easy one. This is a proud naval town. So there's a cove in Cork. It's not exactly a port, but it's also not exactly a harbor, so they call it a cove and city center. And quarterback Jake Kennedy throws the ball away from pressure. So now third down and long coming up here. I don't know why the Craigavon Cowboys are called the Cowboys. I'm not sure why the Belfast Trojans or Knights are called what they are. I don't know why the South Dublin Panthers are called the Panthers. I don't know why the Dublin Rebels are called the Rebels. I don't know what makes the University of Limerick the Vikings. So I regret to inform you, I do not know. 3rd and 9, and Dan Vershew makes another big pass breakup. That's his second or third of the day as Cork sends out the punt unit. This will be the second time Cork has punted today. Their first time punting, it was a muffed punt recovered, turning to keep the drive going, which Cork then turned over on downs. So Sean Douglas will line up to return the punt. For those of you who are late to seeing, I am currently in the UCD offense's locker room. And I wish I could be at the field live calling it for you, but there's no elevated perch to see the game from, so we'd be just roaming the sidelines with the camera, trying to keep everything plugged in, and that would not look good and it wouldn't be great. So we're doing the best with what we got. Punt coming up here for Cork, as UCD hoping to get the ball for the third time today. They faked it. And flag is now being thrown. It is into the hands of Marty Mulry for Cork on the fake punt. So the Admirals run a fake punt play from near midfield. And currently the referees are discussing a potential flag to call the play back. I had a feeling Cork might get tricky today, and just in talking with the coaches very briefly about who was playing what position, they seemed cagey when I asked who was going to be punting for them, and this may have had something to do with it. So now awaiting the results of the flag on a fake punt fourth down play, with the Admirals trying to keep the ball. And the discussion is still ongoing, so we're all waiting for the results, just like the rest of you. More time for questions if anyone's got them. And they will replay fourth down. And I see the Ehrlichs are tuning in. An eligible receiver downfield, Mulry, who made the catch, is ruled to have been ineligible to have gone downfield. He was the first one to touch it. 5-yard penalty results in a longer fourth down, and likely that means Cork is not going to run another fake punt play, so who knows. Age range of players on UCD. So 4th and 12 coming up here. Age range of players on UCD. As a broadcaster, I should know this information offhand, but I don't. There are a few 30-plus veterans on this team who have been at this for a while. There, I think, are a couple of 1980-something birthdays. And on top of that, we do have a few teenagers on the team. So it runs the gamut of people who are of adult age. So I'd say 19 to 40 is my best guess. First and 10 UCD following a punt. They will be lining up at the UCD 26. Second quarter of action. UCD leads 8-0 off of a touchdown run by Aaron Mooney. As the offense goes back onto the field, there are 3 minutes and 55 seconds left in the half. Jack Finnegan breaks a tackle, gets a short gain, sets up a second down play. As the offense is now finally back on the field for UCD, they will receive the ball to start the second half. So curious decision here to see how the offense plays it to try to double dip here in this first half. Cork, one of the notes that I got from the coaching staff for UCD is that Cork likes to hold on to the football while they are on offense. So they take a long time between plays, and they like to milk the clock. They like to win the time of possession battle. Second down and 7 coming up for UCD. Finnegan breaks another big run. It'll be a first and 10 from the 35. And now Aaron Mooney runs for 6. He will get it to second and 4 from the 39, approaching midfield. Closing in on halftime, so if you've got more questions, I may have to dip during halftime and not answer them because we're trying to get the camera situated. Second and 4 for UCD. Lateral pass, and it is going to be a run for a first down. Flag on the play after a catch by Torin Murray. See what the flag is. Holding penalty on Stu Wiley, so that'll set up second and 14 after the 10 yards are marched off. 2 minutes and 21 seconds to go in the first half of action. UCD on the board early. However, this is just their third time touching the ball today. I made the joke during one of UCD's training sessions that UCD is going to have to go through, oh wow, Tom Donovan got a catch for 24 yards, getting all of the yardage needed for the first down and more on the Cork side of the field at the 40-yard line to set up first and 10. I made the joke that UCD was going to have to operate like Fielding Yost and Michigan did with the point-a-minute offense as they held the ball because Cork likes to hang on to the ball as long as possible. And Torin Murray pass for 6 yards for a second and 4. Are there many fans today? I do not know if there is anybody watching at the game live. 2-minute warning, UCD has all 3 timeouts. Cork only has 1. And there are 34 yards separating UCD from the end zone. It didn't look like this particular setup was... It didn't look like there were any places for fans to sit. There is a standing area beyond the field of play. It is a natural grass field that Cork plays on, courtesy of Munster Technical University. So I didn't see any fans prior to me having to come into this dark, white-walled room and talk to all of you. And Stu Wiley makes another reception. UCD's coach tells me that it was clear pass interference, as he was apparently being hugged by one of the defensive backs. Didn't give me a number for Cork so I can identify the guy. Oh, the Ehrlichs are standing on the sideline right now. You're closer to the field than I am. So inside of 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter, UCD looking to double dip and score in the inside of 2 minutes, and then they will receive the ball to start the half. Penalty was on David Kinsella, number 46 on the Cork defense. 1st and 10 from the 19 after the penalty is declined, I believe. Oh no, that's 15 yards. And Cork intercepts the ball. UCD turns the ball over at the 1 yard line. Pass was looking for Brandon Atwell, and Mooney turns it over. This is the second turnover of the game. Cork fumbled the ball on their second drive, and Cork is at 1st and 10 with no timeouts remaining. So one touchdown run for Mooney, 1 interception here in this first half. There is 1 minute and 32 left to go in the quarter. We thank everybody who has tuned in and has joined us in this makeshift live stream. Normally we have the video of the game showing. However, today the camera decided to give us trouble. And because it was already set up to capture game film and the game had begun, we were not able to reset the camera prior to the game kicking off. So not to worry, we will try again at the halftime whistle to see if we can get the video back for everybody to watch the game. And a pass for 4 yards. Alex Brady on the tackle. 2nd and 5 coming here. And an incomplete pass out to the right. 3rd and 5. Cork is out of timeouts, and so this is a very interesting 3rd down conversion as they are deep in their own territory. And if they don't get any yards here, or if they don't get the 1st down here, they're probably going to have to punt it away to UCD and not risk going for it on 4th down deep in their own territory. UCD does have an explosive play offense waiting to get back out on the field following the interception. Third down play for the Admirals. And Kusmarek breaks up the pass. 4th down coming, and Cork has a decision to make. We are under 1 minute to go. The Admirals are deep in their own territory. UCD leads by 8 points, and the Admirals likely going to have to punt. Play the field position game and keep UCD away from the offensive half of the field as long as possible. They're on in punt formation. However, they faked one of their most recent punts. It was called back due to an eligible receiver downfield penalty, so Cork then had to punt the ball normally. And Sean Douglas returned. UCD is flagged for a block in the back. UCD is back on the field with 3 timeouts, separating them from the halftime whistle. They've yet to spot the ball. Once again, I'm Max Walpoff. Thank you so much for joining us and being part of your Sunday. The next time we are live will be Saturday afternoon against the University of Limerick Vikings. Also, we will be from Limerick that day. Hopefully, Limerick has a spot for me to broadcast the game from. If not, we will figure it out. We're hoping to get the camera feed back up and running for the second half of action. So UCD will have all 3 of their timeouts and not a lot of time left here in the second quarter. They will get the ball to start the half. And wait a second. Offsetting penalties. And they will replay the down. So penalties offset. That allows Cork the chance to re-kick the ball. 41 seconds remaining. You don't get the time back on an offsetting penalty play. So all things considered, this is working out well for Cork, that they take as much time as possible off of the clock with a second kick, rather than put the ball in the hands of UCD's capable offense. And Sean Douglas receives the punt, takes it to the Cork 30. There is another flag on the play. What else is new? Good to see you, Sam. Waiting on word as to what the flag is. If I'm to hazard a guess, UCD will take over with fewer than 30 seconds remaining and most of the field to go. So, Sam, you weren't here earlier. We tried to set up the camera prior to the game. The live link that we sent and running into the kicker on UCD. So this might actually send the play back to Cork. So we are hoping to get the camera set up again for the second half. It is recording right now, but the link and they're going to just re-kick the ball again. So now a third punt in a row coming up here, as Cork is slowly just taking as much time off of the clock as they can. It was offsetting penalties. So now for the third time, a third punt coming here. And interestingly, UCD was down a player on the second punt, so now they're back to their regular full-strength 11. So, Sam, the camera is recording the game, but the link that the camera sent me to work with did not lead me to the live feed that I normally send the game out to people from and share my screen. We were panicking with about 10 minutes to go trying to get that set up. 4th and inches, setting up here after the play. So Cork is opting not to punt. They're bringing out heavy formation to try to gain the yards themselves, going for a risky play. So UCD's defense comes back out onto the field. .26 seconds to go. Cork is opting to go for it on 4th down, on 4th and inches from deep in their own territory. And Cork takes a delay of game penalty. Live by the sword, die by the sword. If you take it down to the end of the play clock, don't be surprised if you get burned with a delay of game penalty. And the punt team is coming back on. Gosh, I would have loved to have seen this because it must have been funny for me. With the pause clock, there will not be a 10-second runoff for the delay of game penalty. So the punt team comes back on for the Admirals. I'm not putting the offense graphic up until I have confirmed that the UCD offense is actually on the field to run plays. For the 3rd time on this 4th down sequence, Sean Douglas receives the punt and gets it to the 30-yard line. And that 4th down is finally over. Okay, everybody. Under 20 seconds to go, UCD has all 3 timeouts, so they can work the middle of the field if they choose. First and 10 from the UCD 30. There are 12 seconds to go. UCD may also opt to take a knee and get this into the halftime whistle. And pass is incomplete. Double coverage on the play. Jefferson Freeman unable to come down with it. And another pass incomplete. Torrin Murray could not come down with it. And that's halftime. So it is now 8-0 UCD over the Cork Admirals. We thank everybody for their patience hanging with us. This is frustrating for us as much as it is probably for you, maybe even more so, because we had the camera, we had it set up, we got it ready, and they'll get another try at it here, hoping to reset everything for this second half of action. Coming to you live from the UCD offense's changing room. Anybody got questions? I've got plenty of time. There's a lot of time between now and the end of the half, and it's not my... and right now, it's up to the coaching staff to see if they can get the camera back in working order for us to show you the game that you all came here to see, because I know... as much as people enjoy my commentary, nobody came here to watch a guy wearing a suit sitting in a room with white walls. So if anyone's got questions, plenty of time to answer them now. Until then, for those who are just tuning in, Aaron Mooney got the only score of the game so far on a touchdown run. The conversion converted by Alex Kusmeric in tractor formation, which is UCD's preferred short yardage situation. Can I do a tap dance routine? If I were to do a tap dance routine right now, it would not be good, and it would not sound good because I don't actually have tap dancing shoes to do it with. I could try. Doesn't mean it's going to be any good. It's like if somebody asked me right now to bake them a cake, it's like, okay, I can do that. It probably won't be that good, but I can try. There's a line in a movie that I watched years ago where a kid is speaking and he says, I can promise you milk and cookies, but if the oven's broken, you're just getting milk. And that's kind of what I feel like right now. I feel like I have promised everybody milk and cookies, but the oven, in this case the camera, is broken. So right now you're just getting me. So it's not an ideal situation. It's definitely not what I was hoping for. Again, definitely want to thank everybody for sticking with us through these technical issues. UCD leads by 8 points. Cork Admirals, definitely a stingy defense as they have allowed 11 and 13 points on the season. If UCD is to get another touchdown, they could potentially get that to the highest points allowed by the Admirals this season in their 3 games so far. Any thoughts on the upcoming NFL draft? I am looking forward to not watching it. Listen, the NFL draft, in my opinion, is a media event that has been turned into a spectacle show. The NFL draft is a fine television product, but I think too many people get their hopes up based on who their teams draft. Case in point, the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers frequently draft offensive linemen, defensive players in the first round. They don't tend to draft the star players that people might have read about in the mock drafts or have watched on college football and know them by name, especially the first round of the draft. I think back on last year. I happened to be watching it because I was somewhere where it was on, and the person that the cameras cut to right after the Packers drafted Jordan Morgan, an offensive lineman, the guy was confused because he didn't know who that was. And I don't know enough college players to watch the draft intelligently. So those are my thoughts on the NFL draft. I am looking forward to seeing the scenery that Green Bay has set up for it. However, the draft is just not my thing. Those are my thoughts on the NFL draft. I don't have an opinion of who should go first. I don't have an opinion of who should be a third rounder versus a fifth. I don't have an opinion on these things. Halftime between UCD and the Cork Admirals. They're hoping that the camera feed that we have for the game can be reset and allow everybody to watch the game along with me, as opposed to all of you staring at me sitting here in a suit in a locker room with white walls. Anybody's got questions? Got plenty of time to answer them. Even if my answer is I have no thoughts, I will tell you. Halftime was started at 3:15, so we're approaching now the 10-minute mark of the halftime interval. Definitely hoping we get the camera back for the second half. If nothing else, because it's just a much better product when we can give that to you. What do I love about being in Ireland? Okay, so asking me about the positives of living here. Number one's the food. I have yet to have a bad meal at any place I've traveled in Ireland, whether it's a convenience store or a quality restaurant. Yet to have a bad meal anywhere in the country. So I will say the food here is hyper fresh. There's a really big emphasis by the Irish government, by Irish farmers, by generally Irish society of having fresh food all the time. So that means you have to shop at the grocery store more frequently because stuff goes bad faster. However, definitely the food is number one things I love about living here. Um, what else do I love about living here? Uh, okay, here's something that confuses me about living here. Sports rights are way harder to access here than they are in the United States. I'll put it this way. There are a couple of leagues where it's very easy to watch all of their stuff. Major League Baseball, easy. National Football League, easy. The National Hockey League, hard. The I haven't tried the NBA because I don't watch the NBA. College sports, basically impossible. It's almost impossible to watch college sports here, and I'm not sure what else to tell you. That's one of the main problems I have living here because sports rights are really hard to come by. The Champions League, it's actually funny. Moving here, I've watched less Premier League games than I would have been able to watch if I just stayed in the US. So sports rights are a really interesting access point. Um, huh. I like actually being able to walk everywhere. I really do. Being able to walk pretty much anywhere. The bus system, let me just tell you, for our Irish viewers who are out there right now, you complain about the bus too much. And I understand you have higher standards than I do as an American, but you come to America and you try riding the bus in any of our big metros, you will understand what I'm talking about. Because the buses in DC do not run on this efficiency. The buses in Boston definitely don't. I never tried public transit when I lived in Miami, and with good reason, because it was notoriously bad. So, public transit in this country runs at a much better rate than it does compared to what I'm used to. compared to what other Europeans are used to from talking to my German friends here, they understand the complaints because the German system and the French system, they run at a better clip than the Irish system does. But from my perspective as an American, things here run smoothly. Yes, buses are sometimes a bit late, or uh, the time ticker that they have at certain stops doesn't always say accurately how much time is between the buses. Compared to what I'm used to, the buses run amazing here. Other things I love about living in Ireland: you can talk to pretty much anybody. Pretty much everyone is willing to talk to you about whatever. Most people are willing to engage in a surface level conversation about anything. You may not get the standoffish attitude that you might get in certain American big cities. Cough, New York, cough. Still working on the connection for the camera to access Wi-Fi. The camera is not saying why there's a broken connection, but there is a broken connection. Have I found a favorite Irish food? Hmm. Huh. That's uh that's a troublesome question. I'm not sure how to answer that. Because one thing I've really come to love, Irish cheese is awesome. Irish cheese tastes so good. But I wouldn't necessarily call that a food. I'd call that an ingredient. I guess that's also food. Um, hmm. Irish food. I don't frequently go out to eat, so for the most part, I basically just cook at home. Irish chicken is awesome. Guinness is one of the things you love. Well, it's funny you say that because this is awkward for me to live here because I don't drink alcohol at all. Just lifestyle choice, not my thing, never has been. Living here is really fascinating to see how central the pub is to Irish society and culture compared to what I'm used to. And granted, it's just a different way of looking at the world. Like the default nice thing to do for somebody is to offer to buy them a pint, and it's just not something I want to accept. Mr. Atwell, I've never actually wanted to try the Guinness Zero, just not my thing. So the camera is still not working. So I regret to inform everybody that you are stuck with looking at my face for the duration of today's contest, as our Wi-Fi issues were not able to be resolved. So it is still 8-0. UCD's kick return is setting up to begin the third quarter. So they will begin the game on offense here to start this second half. Really sorry we could not get the camera set up. Yeah, I basically drink Coke or Coke Zero every time I go out with anybody, and that's very rare. I don't like going out a lot. And Cork has kicked the ball out of bounds to start, and that's one of two flags that are down. It's actually funny. One of the coaches who hasn't talked to me in this regard on this subject asked me, "Do I drink beer?" To which I said no, and he thought that meant I wasn't going to drink a beer before the game. So I had to correct him and say, "No, I don't drink beer at all." So it was an interesting back and forth there because he's an Irish guy, and I just felt like I had to say it again to emphasize the point. So really sorry for everybody that we were unable to get the camera up and running. So it's back to the ticker tape style announcing from the 1960s and 70s. It's definitely a frustrating point for all of us. I wish we could have gotten the camera working, but we will work on this again for next Saturday's game. UCD will start the drive from the 30-yard line as the offense comes onto the field. It is an 8-0 game, so likely starters still in the contest. All right, everybody. If you've got questions, I'll still answer them because we know we don't have the visual aid for today's game. Irish vegetable soup is really good, and if you've never had soda bread, absolutely have it. Awesome stuff. Basically, every pub does a good one. You can definitely get a great one at certain places, but almost every pub does a good soda bread. First and 10 UCD setting up from the 30-yard line, following the Cork kick out of bounds to start the half. And it's a toss to Torrin Murray, run up the right. Big block from Jefferson Freeman. And that will set up a gain for first down. Up to the 50-yard line, a 20-yard gain on first and 10. Definitely a soda bread with Irish butter is a great pub staple. Yeah, Irish butter, if you've never had Irish butter, and if you're living in the U.S., it might be a lot more expensive now because of the current tariff situation. But if you can find Irish butter, it's really good. I wouldn't call it life-changing because there aren't many things that are on that tier of life-changing, but it definitely will change how you perceive butter and what it can be. First and 10 from the 50 as player for Cork is down. Matthew Sibonian is down on the ground. He's getting treatment from the physiotherapist for Cork. Yeah, Kerrygold is one of the U.S. brands. I didn't want to give them free advertising, so I didn't say a brand in particular. That said, if anybody from Kerrygold is watching, we would love your money. Speaking of which, while we've got a chance for this delay, we want to thank everybody who tuned in and donated from our last stream. The O'Briens, Suzanne, the Freemans, the Ehrlichs, the Harpers, thank you so much for all of your support. Your money goes directly to help club expenses, such as renting the bus, making sure we can rent the ambulances, making sure that we can pay the physiotherapy staff that has to come out for games. So if you would like to donate any money for the UCD American Football Club, Revolut for our Irish users and PayPal for our American users are on the screen now. Take a picture of the code, send in what you can. Everything you send us will be used to help offset club expenses leading for the rest of the season. So, at any rate, UCD's offense still on the field now. First and 10 from the 50 after a brief stop for an injury to Sibonian. And Tom McKenniff, a run for no gain, sets up second down. UCD's first offensive drive resulted in a touchdown and 2-point conversion, and that is all the scoring so far. It was a short run by Aaron Mooney, a 2-point conversion by Kusmerik. Second down coming, and a toss left. McKenniff is taken down for a loss of 2. Third and 12 coming up here for UCD. A drive that started with promise is stalling out at midfield. For those just tuning in, we welcome you to see UCD versus the Cork Admirals. We were unable to get the camera working today to send out the live feed. However, the camera likely is recording the game for posterity for game film. And Mooney is sacked on the play. The punt unit now comes on, as Tom Donovan will stay out there, as he is UCD's punter. So a drive that began with promise will result in a change of possession. UCD's defense getting work so far. They have held Cork out of the end zone. Turnover on downs, fumble, punt, punt. Go the drives for the Admirals from the first half. And the punt is out of bounds inside of Cork's 20-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 18 coming up. This is the Admirals get set to go onto the field for their next possession. First possession of the half. The orientation of the field is an interesting one. UCD's visitors bench is looking out toward Cork City Center and the Rossbrook neighborhood. And when I say neighborhood, I mean neighborhood. There are houses on the other side of the field. UCD's backs are to the Currageen River. The south end zone is heading toward MTU's GAA Stadium, which is where I am situated. And the north end zone heads toward the River Lee and Blarney Castle. In case anybody wanted an Irish geography lesson today. So UCD's defense is back on the field, as O'Dwyer with the tackle on a short gain of 2 sets up 2nd and 8. So Rory O'Dwyer, the Mike linebacker position. The ARV means rookie, so freshman is not a term used in Irish universities, or I think any European universities really. The R stands for rookie, as in rookie to the game, or rookie to the team, I should say. Will Ehrlich is not a rookie to the game by any means. So the R by Freeman, by Quinlan, by Ehrlich, and by Polson means this is their first season with the team. And Cork sets up a short run, but it's wrapped up by about 5 UCD players. 2nd and 9 coming up, following the tackle for loss. First time Cork has touched the ball. Don't worry. We thought that would be a good thing to include, because we do have the C for captain for Doyle, along with Mooney and others on the offense. But the R is for rookie, so that means that this is the player's first season in AFI. As I don't know if you were able to hear, but one of the coaches came into the locker room to get something. Not to worry, you're good. 3rd and 9 coming up here for UCD. And quarterback run up the middle. Adam Quinlan, among others, in on the stop. And 4th and 5 for the Admirals. Punt team is coming on. Sean Douglas back to return. Cork has done a fake punt today, so UCD likely going out there with an added antenna up to try to see whether or not Cork tries anything funny here. And they have actually punted. So both teams' first drives end in a punt to start the second half of action. And UCD will open up their second drive from the 26. It is a 90-yard field for UCD and Cork today, as they play on a converted GAA pitch. So typically what happens with American football in Ireland is that you either take out 5 yards from, you have to take out the 10 yards from the middle of the field, because most rugby fields and GAA pitches are not exactly fit to form to allow for a 100-yard field. So midfield is actually the 45 today, as it has been for UCD's home games. 1st and 10 from the 26 starting up. And pass to Torin Murray, complete for no gain. 2nd and 10 coming here. We thank everybody again for joining us on their Saturday morning, afternoon, or evening. Always curious where people are tuning in from. We've had a couple of people chime in from the US, one from Canada. Glad to see you've come back. I recognized your username from the previous game. 2nd and 10 coming up. Toss right to Finnegan, and he gets half the yards he needs. 3rd and 5 coming. From the 31, have to get to the 36. Looking to get 1 yard beyond the big line. UCD's offense tends to work quickly, at least compared to Cork's offense. From San Juan Islands in the U.S. One of the Pig War Islands. I know exactly where you are. Pass to Tom Donovan, who drags a couple of Cork players with him, gets his shirt ripped, and it results in... I'm waiting for the results. He broke 3 tackles and he ran it all the way for a touchdown. Too bad we didn't have video from it. Tom Donovan getting a huge touchdown run. Broke 3 tackles, gets a shirt rip, and is able to run it in for 6. 14-zip, UCD on top. Dang, from the descriptions I'm getting and from Scott, who's on the sideline, I really wish I had seen this because, man, that looks awesome. And it's a 2-point conversion with plenty of effort. So 16-0. UCD is on top on a play of the game from Tom Donovan. There's a reason this guy is called TD, and it's often because he scores touchdowns, but also his initials. So 16-0, UCD is in the lead after an amazing drive. And flag on the play after the conversion. So uncertainty here for UCD as far as what happens next. As Donovan got, I would have loved to have seen that touchdown. We can try to post the highlights from the game film. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to, but we can definitely ask about that. And normally that's not a question we have to ask because we just have the video here. But I may have to ask and see if we can at least put the video that we make for ourselves for the game film up on YouTube for everyone to watch. An unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Owen Feely for taunting after the conversion. So kickoff comes on as it is after the play, so the points stand. So UCD will be backed up on the kick. They will be kicking from the 20, not the 35, as they normally would. The 15-yard line, not the 30. So 16-0 your score following the long touchdown run by Tom Donovan, who I'm sure is going to have a legendary tales about that touchdown for a long time. And considering there is no live stream video to edit what he says, he could probably say what he wants about that touchdown. UCD's defense going to come back out onto the field. Most points surrendered so far by the Admirals in this young season, as UCD is still struggling to find their way back into the rarefied air of the Belfast Trojans with the point differential of plus 87. UCD on the year has a plus 56 differential entering today's game. And Jan Decini receives the kick and takes it till the 32-yard line. We again thank you all for putting up with us through some technical difficulties. We started the stream late today because the camera was giving us trouble on the field. So this is the best we can do given the situation. And a tackle behind the line of scrimmage on a screen pass. Alex Brady with another tackle for loss. 2nd and 16 coming up. And Decini got the play again. Second down and 16 here. Ball from the 26-yard line for Cork. As the Admirals yet to put a point on the board, and they've called a timeout. Not a great sign down 2 scores when you're calling a timeout in the third quarter. Early stages of the third quarter, both teams have already held the ball once. Both sides punted on their first plays, on their first drives of the second half. Tom Donovan got UCD on the board for the 2-point score. 16-0 is the score heading into the rest of the third quarter. We thank you all again for joining us as part of this. My name is Max Walpoff, and again, I can't stress enough how sorry I am about the technical difficulties that we've experienced with the cameras today. We were trying to get it right. We could not do so, but working with what we got. So second down coming for Cork following the use of their first timeout of the half. And a pass incomplete, looking for Victor Mazer. UCD got double coverage on it, but could not result in an interception. 3rd down and 16. UCD shifting into cover 1 for this 3rd down 16 play. Admirals deep in their own territory, 3 receivers to the right. Waiting on confirmation of the result of this 3rd and long play. Big sack from Adam Quinlan off of the blind side. Results in a 4th and 19 deep in Cork's territory, and it is all but certain they will punt on again. Dan Sheedy comes on to punt. UCD's defense once again keeping Cork off of the board. As our hosts from the Rebel County having some trouble getting points on the board today, as they have definitely struggled to get points all season. They only have 12 points for the entirety of the season, 8 in the most recent game against the Trojans, and it's a short punt to the Cork 40. And out of bounds, UCD 1st and 10 from near midfield. So the offense returns. UCD comes into today's game and at second in the AFI standings with a potential explosion here in this half. They might be able to catch the Belfast Trojans' point differential. And Brandon Atwell follows his blocks for a rush of 9. If UCD can score 15 more points, they will be able to tie the Belfast Trojans on point differential through 3 games. 2nd and 1, UCD calls for a motion to the left side. And a run, but it's stopped behind the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 5, coming on a loss of 4. Third and 5 upcoming here. UCD leading by a full 2 possessions. And Stu Wiley, a huge catch inside the 10-yard line. Wiley came close to a touchdown earlier in this game, as it's 1st and goal with 7 yards to go. UCD closing in on their 3rd touchdown of the day. Can they punch it in? Jack Finnegan is stopped on a toss play, and they lose yards. 10 yards to go now with 2nd and goal. Mooney still in the game at shotgun, likely. As UCD waits, 2nd down and goal, looking to get 10 yards for the end zone. Up by 16. Finnegan, he is stopped again. Cork is in heavy defense, and they are trying their best to keep UCD out of the end zone. And on comes Brandon Atwell for 3rd and goal. UCD, bears repeating, does not have a field goal unit, so they will likely go for it on 4th and goal if they are stopped here at 3rd down. And Tom Donovan, left side into the end zone for 6. Touchdown for Tom Donovan once again. 22-0 is your score. UCD will line up to go for 2. Thank everybody for sticking it out with us here through some technical difficulties, as UCD now has their offense coming to life here. Two-point conversion set up here for UCD to go up 24-0. Toss to Wiley, and he's short by a yard. So UCD fails to get the 2-point conversion as the kickoff unit comes on. 22-0 is the score. UCD needs 9 more points to tie the Belfast Trojans on point differential for best in the league. As the offense is 2 for 3 so far today. UCD's defense will come back on the field, so far keeping Cork at bay. Admirals have been unable to sail through these choppy waters. That was a great joke. Please clap. Again, thank you so much to all of you who have tuned in today to look at me sitting in a white room in a suit for today. This is not an ideal situation for any of us to have been in. However, I'm grateful that you're all here. I'm grateful that you're all watching. Please ask me questions. I'm dying up here waiting for more things to talk about from the field. I am almost entirely reliant on text messages from one of our assistant coaches, Daniel McCauley. He's the one who also sends me the lineups before the games. He's the one who I most frequently talk to among the coaching staff. And it's a return for UCD as Greer in on the stop, along with Corrigan. At the 14-yard line is where Cork's drive begins. 1st and 10, have to get to the 24. Admirals are struggling here in the third quarter. Top 10 players picked in a hypothetical AFI draft. All right, Sam, I have a follow-up question to that. All right. UCD keeping their defenders pressed back as 1st and 10 from the 14. My follow-up question to that is AFI drafting out of the NFL, or is the NFL drafting out of AFI? What's the direction here? It's a big run for Harris Monaghan. Ball stripped away and returned by Alex Kusmerik all the way. However, Monaghan is ruled down by contact. 1st and 10 from the 25. Tough break for Kusmerik, nearly getting a strip 6. However, the officials rule Monaghan down, so it's a 1st down run. NFL drafting AFI players. Okay. Boy. I don't know that many players from other teams. As Monaghan runs up the middle again, and UCD holds him back for a short gain of 1. Oh, current draft order 2? You're asking me to remember the NFL draft order? All right, guess I gotta figure that out. NFL draft order. 2nd and 9 coming from the 26-yard line. But it's an end of the quarter, as the 4th quarter is coming up here. So I believe the Giants have the first pick. If I'm remembering correctly, the Giants have the first pick. No, the Titans have the first pick. Oh dear, the Titans need a lot of pieces. Titans Brown. Yeah, I finally have the load up here. The Titans, Browns, Giants, Patriots, Jaguars, Raiders, Jets, Panthers, Saints, Bears. Oh God, that's a lot of teams with a lot of holes. Oh boy, Kennedy pass to Dassini is broken up. Larry Doyle on the breakup brings up third down and 9. So, all right, I have the draft order now in front of me. Who out of AFI would be drafted by the Titans? Oh dear. So I know from years ago the Titans liked to draft by position, where they basically built their entire team by drafting offensive linemen and having them under cost controlled contracts. And that worked for a little bit, got to the playoffs, didn't result in them getting to the AFC Championship game, but it at least got them some success. Third and 9 here for UCD, for Cork Admirals. UCD's defense trying to get them off the field as fast as possible. Get the ball back in the hands of Aaron Mooney and the offense. And over the top, hunting for Victor Mazer, incomplete. Cork has put their punt unit back on the field. 4th and 9. Dear, I don't know whether this is a I actually don't know whether this is a compliment or not, but I think Dan Vershu would really help out the Tennessee Titans. I think he would do wonders for that defense, which was very porous at the cornerback position. And granted, they were porous at every position. They allowed a lot of points. The Browns are a fascinating one because they need a quarterback in a bad way. As Sean Douglas returns the ball for a few yards. But more importantly, Cork actually punts this time. Man, Sam, you're asking the stumper questions because I don't know if you paid attention at halftime or not, but I don't really follow the NFL draft. I prefer to wait until the preseason to actually care about prospects and players who might not make the team. 1st and 10 UCD coming up from their own 30-yard line as the offense trots back out onto the field. Gosh, I'll ask Uncle Mike, what do the Giants need? Because goodness gracious, they had a bad year this year. Toss play to Murray, and he gets 6 yards. The Giants need everything. So, oh dear. You know, I think, dear, I kind of don't want to say too many UCD players, even though they're really the only roster I know well, because I don't want to have the players come back at me and say, why the heck did you send me to insert city name here? 2nd and 4 coming up here, as thankfully play has resumed. And pass to Jefferson Freeman, who takes it all the way and scores. Touchdown, UCD. 28-0 as UCD lines up to go for 2. Another long passing play puts UCD back within striking distance of the Belfast Trojans offense. Two-point conversion coming up as UCD just got back on the board, and Sean Douglas is in the corner for 2 points. 30-0. UCD is on top here in the 4th quarter. Titans taking Quinlan would be a really good pick for them because again they need defensive help in a bad way, and Joe Carroll's a really good pick for. I think the Browns would want to take a more veteran quarterback, so I'd have Mooney flipped with Carroll because the Giants they just got Russell Wilson, so they don't need somebody who has a big amount of experience. So they probably could take a quarterback that's young, have him learn behind Wilson. If that makes sense to you, Sam. UCD finally about to kick off. UCD is 3 for 4 today on 2-point conversions. I have to say this. Jefferson Freeman is now being called OB Jeff in the chat with the coaches that I have. So that's fun. Patriots taking Alenki. Oh, man, that'd be a really good pickup for them offensive line because they had a really hard time protecting Drake May. And kick Squibs through the back of the end zone, which means Cork will set up from their 20-yard line when they come back out. Now you're starting to get the jokes. 11 minutes separate us from the end of the game. 1st and 10 from the 25. So 11 more minutes of game time between now and the chance that I actually get to shut down my computers and go home. I'm really sorry that we couldn't get the live video for everybody today. We're doing the best with what we've got. So it's ticker tape updates. I feel almost bad sending somebody from AFI to the Jets because given the background the Jets have in player development, in short, it's not great. And Cork gets their first touchdown of the day. Searching for the name on my sheet. Looks like Aaron Hogan, 89. As the Admirals finally scratch the scoreboard for their first points of the day. AFI teams drafting NFL players. Oh, man. There's so many choices. There was a very interesting thought exercise that one of my favorite baseball follows did, which was what would happen if Major League Baseball players were just prospects for another league. And it's a quick pass, but it's the player's tackled by Kusmerik. No points on the play. So Cork fails the conversion. It's now 30-6. Gosh, there was a really fascinating article because the concept of what makes a valuable prospect alters your opinion on what makes a valuable player. So players like Aaron Judge and Jose Altuve, back when the exercise was done, were seen as the top prospects because when the article was written, they were really young, fresh players who were still not yet at superstardom and had not yet signed their second contracts. And Cork is going to go for an onside kick here. They're behind by a lot, so this does make sense from a strategy perspective for Cork to go for an onside kick here. And it looks like they're lining up on the right side to kick it as UCD puts 1 out on the left just in case it's reversed and 10 bunched up on the right. This is not something UCD normally practices. So here comes an onside kick chance for Cork. Pretty much got to get it to have a chance to win this game. and they kick it deep. Jack Finnegan takes it. He runs over a player for Cork, and the UCD kick return is stopped at the 35. So all that show was for nothing, as Cork instead lines up to go onside but opts to kick it deep instead. Oh well. And UCD will call their first timeout of the half. They have 2 remaining, same as the Admirals. They had some confusion on offensive line of who was going to be out there. So you're up 30-6. Best to call a timeout, make sure you have people who are out there. Once again, I'm Max Walpoff. Thank you for all of you for putting up with this mishigas that we have going on here. And UCD will set up again. I must say Chag Sameach Pesach to all of my Jewish friends out there in the world celebrating the second night of Passover tonight. And Tom Donovan is in a different jersey. His number 6 was ripped off of his body on his touchdown play. So he's now wearing number 0, as that jersey was available today. Owen Feely likes to wear number 0, but he went with number 51 today. And a good thing UCD had an alternate jersey to go to. First down UCD from their 35, and it's a big run from Kusmarek. And no gain on the play as Cork's line runs right into him. I misplaced the word big and run, so it looked like big run, not run, comma, big hit when I was reading off of the tape. My apologies to all of you who got excited about the prospects of a long run play. Pass to Murray is incomplete. There's a flag down on the second down play. We'll see what the flag is. Mr. Atwell, thank you for watching. And it's roughing the passer on the defensive side of the ball. Harris Monaghan, one of the defensive linemen who doubles as a running back. So it's a free first down for UCD, moving the ball to the 40-yard line. And Tygo O'Connor is in at quarterback for UCD, so Aaron Mooney's day is likely done with just the 1 touchdown, with the 2 touchdown passes and a touchdown run. So now O'Connor comes in, the junior Wolfhounds quarterback. Douglas gets the pass, and he cannot complete the process of the catch. Second down from the 40 coming up here. Three receivers to the left, 1 to the right. UCD's second down play coming up. Waiting on the result of the second down action. UCD leads by a score of 30-6. And long pass to Jefferson Freeman, not called pass interference, as it is an incomplete pass. 3rd and 10 coming up here. The UCD coach that I'm speaking to is incredulous that pass interference was not called on the play. And a throw to Tom Donovan on this third down play. 13 yards, gets it all for the first down. 1st and 10 from beyond the midway line. Cork 27 is where UCD sets up here. Time ticking away here in this fourth quarter. UCD understands that they're not just playing for this one as O'Connor keeps it and runs on the first down play, and he gets 15 yards. So moving inside the red zone and inside the 10, inside the 15 with that run. And Cork player will take a knee for the injury timeout. So taking down here in the fourth quarter, UCD understands they're not just playing this game for today, as it'll be first and goal from the 9 once the injury timeout is over. UCD is also playing this game for point differential, as Tom McKenniff comes in at running back for this play. With Belfast Trojans winning their first 3 games of the season and having 2 big 40-plus blowout wins, it's imperative on UCD to run up the score when they are able to. Never know when you might need that point differential to go swing in your favor, and especially with Belfast being the first game in May, always important to show that you can do something to a shared opponent that they were not able to do. Tom McKenniff run, it's a touchdown UCD. Make it 36-6 as UCD stays on top and gets the points right back. Lining up for 2, as UCD's team blocking secured McKenniff's run for the touchdown. UCD's last 4 drives have all ended in touchdowns following the half-opening punt. And now on the 2-point conversion, UCD lining up for it to go up by 32 points. And Tyg O'Connor passes to nobody. Late hit on the quarterback takes him down, but no flag is thrown. We will play on. A 30-point lead for UCD so far. Here, closing in on the late stages of the fourth quarter, not the first. If it was 2.5 hours into the stream and we're still in the first quarter, we have other problems. UCD will now line up to kick off again, hoping to do a better job than last drive, where it was 1-play touchdown for Cork to get on the board. They were unable to get a conversion, but the Admirals made it onto the board, which is more than can be said for UCD's first opponent this season. Again, the Belfast Knights from last week managed to get on the board. Our next broadcast will be right here on this channel from the University of Limerick when UCD takes on the Vikings. This will be next Saturday, so a very tight turnaround for UCD today. And thankfully for many of the players, they are up now and have a chance to get the backups in to play. We thank everybody again for joining us on UCD American Football. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. We're hoping to get the camera sorted out for next week, but this week, technical issues, we're not able to do so. Decini receives the kick. Greer blocked by 2 men on the attempt to tackle, and Quigley got the hit out of bounds. Cork sets up with good field position from their 41 on the run from Decini. Cork running out of options here as they trail by 30 points. First and 10 from the 41. But first, there's a referee's discussion for a UCD penalty. Uncertain right now what the penalty was called on. The referees opt not to call a penalty, but mention to the UCD coaches that there was taunting on the previous play. Apparently not enough to rise to the level of a foul. So 1st and 10 from the 41, after a lengthy delay to discuss what was going on out there. It's a quick pass to Eamon O'Leary, and Kusmerik tackles him in the backfield for a loss of 4. 2nd and 14 coming up from the Cork 36. 37. Off by a yard. Cork goes 3 receivers left, empty backfield formation. For this 2nd down and long. UCD up by 30 points. Cork struggling to get there. They send a pass to Decini again. Quick tackled by Will Ehrlich. And it's a 2-yard gain to set up another 3rd and long. We thank everybody for making us part of your Sunday entertainment. Set your clocks for the 19th, day after Good Friday, day before Easter. A recap of scoring plays with some downtime. Mr. Freeman, I will be working on that. Jefferson Freeman does have a receiving touchdown today. Tom Donovan's got 2 receiving touchdowns. Aaron Mooney started off the scoring with a touchdown run. Tom McKenniff has the most recent touchdown for UCD. And Cork opts to call their 2nd time out. So they brought the play clock all the way down to 0 and called timeout down by 30 points. Definitely a different philosophy from what I thought would happen on this drive. Cork has 1 timeout left, and the time remaining is 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So Cork opened the game receiving the ball. Their first punt was recovered and then turned into a turnover on downs. UCD then led a long drive down the field with an Aaron Mooney touchdown plus a 2-point conversion run. A Cork fumble led to a UCD turnover on downs. An interception for Aaron Mooney led to a punt from Cork, and then another punt for the end of the half. UCD has scored 4 times in 5 tries, and Liam Polson gets a pick. Cork pass picked off. UCD gets the ball. Liam Polson, who came into today as a first-time starter at the strong safety position. He was burned on the TD earlier. This time he gets the interception. So UCD will line up to go from the 33 in their own territory. With about 7 minutes remaining, plenty of time to pile on more scoring here in this 4th quarter. As Mooney has been taken out of the game, replaced by Tyg O'Connor. O'Connor, who led the most recent scoring drive. Which was capped off by the Tom McKenniff touchdown run. 1st and 10 UCD. And pass again to Freeman. He was not brought in, though. So 2nd down coming up. as potential injury on the play to Charles Washington, number 92 for the Cork Admirals. And the referees rule that it was a catch. Jefferson Freeman made the catch for the ruling. 10-yard pass. So that brings up either a second and short or another first down. And a deep ball for Jack O'Riordan, unable to be caught on the first down play. 2nd and 10. UCD will try again. Up by 30, but still with Belfast hot on their heels on the point differential race. And deep pass picked off on the play. Jan Dessini making the pick, going in on defense. Another chance for Cork to get back into this game. Not a whole lot of time to win. UCD was under the impression that the second down play was a free play, as they thought Cork was offside. No flag was thrown. They take a deep shot. It doesn't go their way, but because it's not a foul, Cork will get the ball on their 37. Jake Kennedy has been the quarterback of record for the Cork Admirals. I was told he was starting, and I've yet to be told that he was taken out for any of the other two listed on the quarterback depth chart formation. Cork running a tight formation on 1st and 10. And it's a run by Kennedy up the middle for 7. Yeah, this is definitely an old school style broadcast. I have a feeling if my grandparents are watching, this might be something more resembling the ticker tape broadcasts that they might have listened to when they were children or young adults back in their days. 2nd and 4 coming up here after the run by Kennedy. We're under about 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. UCD leading by 30. As I am calling the game live from the offense's changing room here at Munster Technical University's Gaelic Athletic Association Stadium. It was interesting now that we hit the 4:30 hour here in Dublin, and in Cork, force of habit. I was told that there was a room available for me to broadcast from, but that another group was coming in at 4 o'clock. And knowing how long these games take, I said to him, listen, I'll just call the game from the changing room if that's okay. And thankfully, there's a lock on the door, so that is okay. And offside on UCD, they don't run a play, so the 5-yard penalty becomes a first down. Again, I'm very grateful for all of you for sticking with us. These sorts of issues are never fun to deal with when you get to a venue and your plans all go awry, but this is what we have. So run up the middle by Monaghan, and he's brought down by multiple tacklers. 2nd and 2 coming up. As UCD just trying to bring this one in for a landing. Up by 30. Don't want anyone to get hurt. Next game is coming up on Saturday of this upcoming week. Day before Easter, day after Good Friday. And it'll be right after the last night of Passover. 2nd down coming for Cork as they're approaching midfield. 2 yards to get for the first down. And it's Monaghan again, making it through. He's brought down by linebackers likely Doyle and Ehrlich still out there. Now on the UCD 37. So Cork authoring a methodical drive here as down by 30. Man, Cork is opting to run the clock as far down as possible, and they have called their final timeout of the game. If football was a game of time of possession, Cork would definitely win. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left are all that separates UCD from bringing this game in for a safe landing. Hi, everybody. Really sorry about that. My internet decided to go on the fritz. So, here's what we missed. Cork still has the ball. Handoff to Callum Crowe. Tackle for a loss, 2nd and 13. Pass over the top of Liam Poulsen. Out of bounds, incomplete. 3rd and 13. Jake Kennedy Chase throws the ball away. 4th and 13. There were 4 minutes and 35 seconds left. Cork went for it. Pass play that just made it to the first down for the tight end, Aaron Hogan. Now it's 1st and 10 Cork from the 27. Pass incomplete. However, Cork illegally substituted on the play, leading to a 1st and 15. I am really sorry about all of the technical issues that we've experienced today. It is still 36-6. Cork still has the ball. They are still on the march. It is late in the 4th quarter, and Cork is using the entire play clock despite being down by 30 points. As right now, it's just time for this game to come in for a safe landing and get us all back on the bus to go home to Dublin. Really apologize to everybody who has tried to stick it out with us. I know that several of you have been trying to watch the entire time. We managed to get a lot of this to work, at least for some of it. But yikes, today has not been an ideal day for broadcast purposes. As Evan Quigley covers the deep pass but cannot catch it, Cork is called for pass interference. Cork is asking for pass interference, but both were looking at the ball. So 2nd and 15 coming up here. We have not hit the 2-minute warning yet. As UCD trying to protect what they have so far in this lead. This is the 4th drive of the quarter for the Admirals. And it's a pass to Decini, who runs out of bounds after a 5-yard gain to set up 3rd and 10. We thank you all for really, really powering through with us here. This is a frustrating day for sure. However, I think all of us can learn to just push through and get the job done as best you can with what you have. So today we had a coach who was willing to provide text updates. We had a room that thankfully is secure. And here's a 3rd and 10 play with Cork trying to get this one into the end zone to have something more positive to talk about in the second part of today's game. Cork went scoreless in the first half as Jake Kennedy is sacked on the play. UCD recovers the ball. Eddie Goggins Jr. on the recovery. 2nd forced turnover of the day for the players on defense. Goggins Jr. and Poulsen have major contributions on this end. 1st and 10 UCD from the 36. As Scott Ehrlich, who is at the field and can see the game. Unfortunately, in order to broadcast, I'm not able to be at the field, as it is an immediate hit on Cooper McQueen, who loses 5 yards on the play. 2nd and 15 from the 31. Pass to McQueen, and he runs it to the 25. Flag in the backfield. And according to UCD's staff, it's a late hit on the quarterback after the ball was released by Tyg O'Connor in quarterback. See what the official call is. And it is a roughing the passer call on Harris Monaghan. 1st and 10 from the Cork 44 coming up after the 15-yard tack-on penalty. And Ben Corey taking the run and getting all the way to the Cork 30-yard line. So UCD is still playing for keeps. Apparently Cork started to get frustrated with now second penalty in a row for a late hit. Corey's run was out of bounds at the 30-yard line. 2 flags are down on the play. Waiting on confirmation of what the penalty was on a first down run by Ben Corey. And it's offensive holding. Play is being walked back, so it'll be 1st and 20 on the UCD half of the field. 2 minutes and 9 seconds separate us from getting this game into a safe landing. Holding penalty was on the left tackle, Stephen Alenki. And now a dead ball foul as number 53, Matthew Sabonian, is being 53? There is no 53 on this team. All right. Anyway, somebody from Cork is being removed his helmet, and that's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. I don't see a 53. I see a 33. I see a 50 and a 55. So at the end of all of that, it's first down UCD from the 35 of Cork, as opposed to it being 1st and 20, which was what the initial call was going to be. Definitely a lot of yellow flags influencing today's game. Jet pass to O'Riordan, and he runs past everybody. Touchdown UCD again. 42 on the board. Ben Corey got the jet sweep, and he ran past everybody. Two-point conversion coming here as UCD trying to put yet more points on the board. (42-6). UCD piling on points here for the Admirals, who continue to struggle to score. The Admirals have yet to get double digits at any point during this season. They got 4 against the Belfast Knights and 8 against the Belfast Trojans. Some confusion from my communication. Finn, I'm trying to get that right now. So there's some confusion from my communicator here, who initially said it was 80, then said it was 40, then said it was 80 again. So 80 is Jack O'Riordan, as there's a false start on the 2-point conversion. Walked back by 5 yards. O'Connor a pass to Freeman. However, the pass is broken up by David Kinsella. So it stays at 42-6. So the last scorer is either Jack O'Riordan or Ben Corey. And I'm not sure who. So sorry, Finn, I don't have a proper answer for you. (42-6). UCD under 2 minutes now from getting this game over with and getting back on the bus to get back home. UCD will kick off. It's Will Lambert, who's been on kickoff duty for the entirety of this season. Will the Drill, as he is sometimes called. Will revealed to me an interesting fact at one of our recent training sessions. He wears 2 different types of shoe to play football. His kicking foot, which is his right foot, is a soccer shoe, and his left foot is a offensive lineman's guided cleat. So he received by Mulry, and Greer hits him for the kickoff. So Cork is back on the ball, and the ball will go to the Cork 35. A lot of points to go around for UCD's offense today. Mooney started us off with a short run. Freeman and Donovan both had lengthy touchdown receptions. As we are closing in on the last minutes of our game today. Hopefully by Saturday, we will have a proper video stream for everybody. And, well, this is interesting. Unsportsmanlike conduct on number 33, Matthew Sabanian, and he has been ejected as a result. So now the ball is on the 20-yard line following the return, and the mercy rule is in effect, so a running clock. As UCD's coaches are telling me, this game should be over very soon, as Cork is going to concede defeat and wave the white flag. They are getting ready to kneel down and say that this ball game is done. .139 on the clock, and Cork will start the kneel downs here. So we can say with confidence, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Admirals. This is a major point for UCD. A big win, 42-6 will be the final score once the final kneel downs happen. And the game is over. Ladies and gents, thank you for joining us. You've been with us for 3 hours watching me sit against a white background, talk to you about a football game that very few of us were actually watching. Scott Ehrlich is the exception to that rule. Frustrating day for me, frustrating day for us on the broadcast, but on the production side all around. I can't stress enough how thankful I am that all of you are still here, all of you were watching, all of you were interested to listen to us talk about this. And I can't thank assistant coach Daniel McCauley enough for telling me what was happening, or at least what was happening around the ball. Would have loved to have been able to see the game. Would have loved to be able to see Tom Donovan's touchdown catch. That sounded like it was awesome. So for all of you out there watching, I hope we can get this fixed by Saturday. I hope we can get the University of Limerick game to you in a normal, traditional broadcast format where you can see the game and I can see the game. Until then, I'm going to cut us off here. Thank you so much for being part of your Sunday. On behalf of UCD American Football, my name is Max Walpoff, and we will see you for the next game this Saturday, April 19th, against the University of Limerick Vikings. Thank you to everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.